Good afternoon, everyone. It's Jami at Hen and Chicks Studio here in Conrad, Iowa. And you know what time it is by now. If you've been following this, it's Take Home Tuesday time. Now on Tuesdays, not every Tuesday, but try to get many Tuesdays, we try to bring a fun, creative project. Sometimes involve sewing, sometimes involving cooking, sometimes just involving something fun, like Heidi and I one day painted together, which Heidi just said to me, we need to have another one of those. So maybe we'll have another painting day. But anyway, we like to bring some idea to you that might be a quick gift to make, or some way to use your scraps, or just something fun and creative to do with your grandkids or kids in Bible school or church or anything like that. So today we're going to bring you a project that we think is not only cuddly, soft, but very doable as well, here in Central Iowa, it is fast approaching the winter season. Maybe where you're living, you get that as well. Of course, you can tell us where you're living or watching from, and we can love to hear where we're seeing or love to see where you are watching from, because we can't hear you, obviously. Anyway, I digress. We are going to use one of our favorite products we have in the store, the Hen and Cuddle. And we're going to be combining, we have two, this is kind of a tip and tutorial video as well as a project. So what Heidi's coming in on now is what we call the luxe. So there's different finishes, so to speak, in the luxe, but this is a luxe fabric. So it has, as you see, I'm just constantly rubbing it. It's super soft. It's warm, but yet not over warm, and a little bit longer nap. So this is the Shannon Luxe Cuddles. We also have what we call the C3 cuddles. I'm trying to come over here. This is one of our C3 cuddles. Do you see how it's a little bit smoother and a shorter nap? So when we're referring to the Shannon cuddles, there are two different kinds of cuddle that we're talking about. On all of these projects, we are using our 60-inch wide cuddle, whether it's the Luxe or the Shannon. And the 60-inch wide in the Shannon C3 cuddle typically has some sort of design on it. This one we're using a tie-dye, but there's flowers, there's fish. What else is back there, Heidi?
Dinosaurs.
Koala bears, dinosaurs,
flowers,
jungle animals, rainbows, unicorns, sparkly unicorns, all sorts of stuff. So you can look at that online, of course, at Hen and Chicks Studio. If you have questions about it, always give us a call. But the project that we're going to walk through today, the steps of, now I can't demonstrate without fully having a full demonstration because we don't have a sewing machine right here. But I can give you the steps to accomplish this. So we're going to talk about how to make a scarf, right? And as we're getting close to winter here, we're talking about, there's a free pattern on our website for an infinity scarf, but we're just talking a regular scarf. And we have several ideas for this because it's regular. And what we do on this one is we're going to sew kind of a pouch or slide through pocket so that you can adjust the scarf to where you want it. You could wrap it around again, tuck it in. We had all sorts of different ways that you could do it. So you could wear it short, you could wear it long, off to one side. My favorite idea, though, was to make it so you can put your little hands in here, like a little hand warmer. And you could do it on each side if you wanted to. But how do you make it? My gosh, it is so simple to make. Let's talk about that. Okay, on this particular one, it is the same on both sides. So we're going to start with that. What you need is 1/3 of a yard. That's all, 1/3 of a yard of the Shannon 60-inch wide. If you wanted to use the 90, you could. It'd just be, you'd probably want to trim it a little shorter, I would think. Okay, and so I have here my 12 inches, which is 1/3 of a yard, of a Luxe Cuddle. This is a different Luxe. Isn't that cute, Heidi? Won't this be really cute? Sorry.
It's Ocelot, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Ocelot beige. Very pretty, very soft. So when I'm doing this, a couple things we're going to do. On this, we're just going to fold it in half, so right sides together. And we've talked about this several times in several of our videos. A simple way to make a project is just to turn it so around the edges with right sides together, then turn it inside out. And you come up with a very quick and easy project with a minimal amount of effort and time into the project. Okay, so that's a different idea. So on this, when you're working with the Shannon Cuddle, again, this is 60 wide, so I'm going to fold it in half, right sides together. We have a couple tips for you. When you're making this particular one, you can do traditional pinning. Because we're using the length or salvage to salvage, we aren't with the stretch of the fabric. There is always stretch to cuddle. So we can kind of come in here and pin it, but always, what was it, Heidi? Pin, 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 and more pin.
And Jamie, I'm just going to clarify, because I think so often it's sort of the opposite. Like, we normally say that the least amount of stretch on a cotton fabric is parallel with the selvage, and in a cuddle, it is perpendicular.
Right.
Is where the least amount of stretch
pulling
is.
more this way. I don't know if I pull. Can you see that?
Yes, absolutely.
You say
yes,
the word.
elasticity.
There you go.
But if you go the other direction.
But if we're going this way, then it's not pulling
Correct.
as much. Okay?
Correct.
So as we're sewing on here, because either way there's going to be a stretch. If you're using what we'll call traditional apparel pinning, when we're pinning the right sides together, they do need to be close together. Because, again, if I just pin every once in a while, what happens? As I'm sewing, I can stretch that fabric out, okay? So pin, 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 all the way around, getting those together. Make sense? A second way that you could pin, which is really what Shannon recommends, and on this project, because it's a little bit smaller scale than versus the Luxe Throw, if you watch any of our previous videos, we've talked about the Luxe Throws often. The second way I'm going to show you is what we recommend on the Luxe Throws. Hands down, the only way to pin, because it's a much larger scale. So if I want to do it as Shannon would recommend on those Luxe Throws, this kind of goes against the grain of what we think we need to do, right? We're going to pin sideways, okay, or parallel with it, but railroad it going opposite directions. So this gap here is going the opposite way to help with any of that extra stretch. Does that make sense? Personally, on this particular one, again, I like to stick with, and this is my personal preference, I'm not endorsing either one. Let's be clear on that. I like to stick with the traditional pinning a lot, because did you know when you're sewing, you should take out your pins as you're sewing before you get to them? It makes it a lot easier if I'm doing heavy pinning to be able to slide my pins out as I'm sewing along. Everyone follows along with my logic. Right or wrong, that's my logic. Take it or leave it on that one. Okay, so I'm going to pin all of this heavily with pins. Let's talk about pins for a minute, because there is a difference in pins. And let's see if we can find, whoop, that's not one. That's not one. Here we go. So this will be Heidi's favorite pins, my favorite piecing pin as well. Let's see if you lay it on
I think if we lay it right here.
There. It's a very fine shafted, very pliable, if you can kind of see that.
Absolutely.
In there. So that's not going to help so much with the stretch. When you're pinning or piecing together, it's perfect for that, because it's a very small shaft. This, which we're using on here, is, if you put them together, you can even visually see that it's a thicker shaft. It is less pliable. It does not bend near as much. Definitely thicker through here, so it helps keep the pieces together nicely, and longer. So I have a better pinning surface area. These ones they're beautiful pins, but they're just not, I don't feel like they're just not quite strong enough for what we're trying to do on this one. Okay. All right. So that's some tips on pinning. Pin and pin more. Okay. And Shannon will even say that, I think, on our class that we host with them, and she say, when you think you've pinned enough, pin again. Okay. So we're going to pin all the way around. So we'd even pin down here. And then we're going to sew the edges of this, of course, together. But to make it easier, because we have to leave an opening, right, to turn it inside out. I think, Heidi, a lot of our thinking would be to make it a long tube and turn it inside out, meaning that I'd sew it but leave one of these ends open, reach all the way through, turn it out. Let's do it even simpler than that. So we're going to leave this one, which was just 1 12-inch strip of that Cuddle. We're going to leave this one. We're kind of going to go to the next step where I've actually sewn it together. And I think Which side will show better?
I think either will. We're real good here.
Okay. What we want to do with this then is I'm going to leave an opening in the center of the scarf. And if you look, here's my opening.
And Jami, in this particular example, you've taken two 6-inch
strips of
strips
fabric
in order to get a 2-color scarf.
Yep. Or the step that I have here with the 2 different ones.
Correct.
Yep. So it gives you, this is very fun. So I have this opening in here, but what makes this work so nicely is, I don't know if you can see that on there. Can you see the L's?
That one I can see.
They're better. So what I've done here is I've actually started or stopped my stitching, whichever way you wanted to do it, on this side. So I've come in and started my stitch on the edge, come up, back stitched, come up about a quarter, half an inch. Now, one thing when we're quilting, we do typically piece at a quarter of an inch or a scant quarter of an inch. That's a whole different topic to talk about. On this particular project, or when working with Cuddle, would recommend a generous quarter of inch, if not half an inch seam allowance on that, okay? The other thing, 2 things that will help you with it is a stretch needle, because there's differences, and that's what's going to go in your sewing machine. And then also a walking foot attachment. Makes a huge difference. Again, if you have questions about that, or if your sewing machine has it, some of you might have to get your manual out and see. Pretty much, I think most machines come with a walking foot now if you get a nice one. But it does make a difference because that walking foot helps it to walk the fabric. And it's a little thicker and it's a little slicker fabric. Okay, so now as you see, I've sewn that generous quarter of an inch to half an inch all the way around my, kind of can see it. In my corners, I've turned the corners, come up. It's not perfectly straight. I will say that. That's why the half inch or generous quarter inch is very good on the Cuddle, because Cuddle it slides even when you're pinning it. And if you're trying to do that quarter inch, it can so easily slide off and you're gonna miss it, okay? So again, I've made my L or ended with my L here to leave the opening. The cool thing about that is when I turn it inside out, it automatically gives me that finished, instead of having to try to tuck it in to sew it shut. So then I'm simply just gonna turn my scarf inside out. Ta-da! Of course, no one probably wonders why I chose these 2 colors on this one. And then I would take a pencil. I don't even have a specific pointy tool or anything. I find my hole again. Bring it back up in here and just kind of poke those corners out. On this one, I'm not worried about cutting my corners to make them really pointy because, again, it's fluffy, right? So I don't need to worry about that. Do the same on this end. Of course, I could leave it here and just leave it as a full scarf without the little turn up if I wanted to do it that way. I'll tell you my cheater method on this too. See how you can already, it's hard to find my opening. It's right there because it's already folding over on itself. So whip stitch together, or if you really want to be a cheater, which sometimes I am, just take your walking machine, because your fabric or your thread is going to slide down in this fabric. You're not even going to see it. Just do a little along there and fluff it out, and you won't even know it's there. So I could leave it here if I wanted to, and I'm ready to go. Okay. Great little gift there. If I want to put the pocket on it, and again, this is 2 6-inch pieces on this one. Okay, so you can see it's 2-sided.
Flip that over one
more time.
Thank you.
It's so soft. This one I think would be great. Just these colors for a little one. So I think it'd be fun if you put a pocket, or what would we call it? Not a pocket, kind of a pocket, on both ends. Just flip it up so then they could have a little hand warmer on both sides of it. Judging on how big do you make your flip up or your slide through. Heidi and I actually discussed this. On this one, I just took my fabric, laid it down here, and made it match like that, pinned it, sewed right across there. Okay. If you wanted a tighter, where it maybe made it more of like a gathered, just make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so just options for you. So again, really honestly, a very fun, well, I think fun, but very fun and quick project that you could make. 1 yard of this fabric could make 3 scarves if you're doing 12-inch or the same on both sides. If you wanted to do 2 colors, of course, 1 yard of fabric, you get 6 of the same. Does it make sense? Okay, Heidi, is there anything that I think that I need to re-explain or readdress on any of this?
I don't think so.
So my biggest thing for you to think about when you're doing that, oh, isn't that pretty? Just laying like that, is to think about when you're using the Cuddle. And on this one, I wouldn't do a top stitch. You could do a top stitch if you wanted to, like we did on this one. This isn't a scarf, but I'll show you what.
If you were wanting a little slightly more tailored.
Yep. This is what I'm talking about over a top stitch. You could come back through and do that on these for that more, a little bit stiffer, less, wouldn't roll as much if you put the top stitch on it. Biggest recommendations, pin, pin, and pin again. The walking foot on your sewing machine, both of those are the biggest tips I have for you. Other than that, it's a really hard project to mess up because it's such a simple thing. So our Take Home Tuesday idea for you today, great for a Christmas present, great for yourself, get ready for winter as it's coming up. Friends, teachers, grandmas, grandpas, do it with your grandkids, so many things that you could do it with. And it's not, we have several options of this, so you could obviously tailor it to whatever color choice you wanted. Anyway.
And Cynthia says that she is not a lover of winter, but making a wonderful scarf like this will keep her neck warm and I would say her spirits up.
Absolutely. And, you know, you could probably come up, I would be curious to see what other ideas people would come up with because there are so many things that you can do just to make it a nice, fun little, oh my gosh, we love this. It's so soft. It is so soft.
And Carolyn, of course, is loving the cyclone colors. But, you know, last night we also have you and I colors and Hawkeye colors.
So you could do purple or black or green. I know it's probably not what everybody wants right now because the Packers aren't doing so well this year, but of course, your school colors or your favorite colors, purple. We know a lot of people like purple. There's a couple colors of purple. There's a purple flower print. Beautiful things. Lots of options for you to do. If you have any questions, as always, give us a call at the studio. We're more than happy to help you, walk you through this quick project. Great thing to get a jump start on any of your holiday sewing that you need to get done or last minute idea for you for a fun gift to give someone. So until when we come again for our next Take Home Tuesday, we hope you have fun. Remember, be creative and choose happy.